The men's basketball team will host 4 summer camps.
And the track and field prepares for conference.
All this and more coming up on the Penguin Rundown. Welcome into the Penguin Rundown. I'm Richie Giuliano alongside Matt Ganser, and Matt, it is an absolutely gorgeous day here on the campus of YSU.
Yes, Richie, the sun is shining and it finally feels like spring.
Yeah, you know, it does feel like spring, and this is our first time hosting together, so I know I'm just as excited as you are. So let's get this thing started with some men's tennis.
All right, let's roll. The men's tennis team closed out their season this past weekend at the Horizon League Conference Championships. Unfortunately, the Gwins lost to UIC in the semifinals 4-3. In doubles play, Danilo Vrumishik and João Guerrero battled to pick up a win 6-4. In singles play, Vasilis Vardakis, Vrumishuk, and Luke Purser were victorious, which tied the match at 3. The final point came down to João Guerrero and Casper Parkillo. Guerrero took his opponent down to the wire but fell just short in the final set. A bright spot in the season was Danilo Vrumishuk. The senior was announced the 2018-2019 Joseph F. Malmisser YSU Men's Athlete of the Year. He boasts one of the best careers in the school's men's tennis history, including being 3rd in the books in doubles wins and 4th in singles wins. On top of this, he has been awarded all-conference honors 3 times, including 2 first-team nominations. Congratulations to Danilo and the rest of the team on an exciting season. Although the women's tennis team ended their season last week, junior Aman Hussein continues to make waves. Hussein was named to the 2nd team All-Horizon League for the first time in her career as a junior. Congratulations to Aman Hussein for receiving the honor. We were looking forward to seeing her and the team perform next season.
The women's golf team wrapped up their season last week at the Horizon League Championships. Caitlin Shutton pressed all season long, and that hasn't stopped now that the season is over. The junior was just announced the 2018-2019 Joseph F. Malmisser YSU Female Athlete of the Year. In her 3 years, Shutt has finished in the top 8 in conference, including medalist honors in 2017 and a runner-up finish just this past week. Congratulations to Caitlin on this incredible accomplishment, and we look forward to seeing what next season has in store for her.
The track and field team was very busy this past weekend, with members competing in both the Penn Relays and the Jesse Owens Relays. First up at the Penn Relays, Julia Elliott won first place in the 100-meter dash with a time of 11.6 seconds. Chad Zala took home 3rd place in the 110-meter hurdles with a time of 14.03 seconds. Distance runner Ryan Sullivan set the school record for the 500-meter run with a time of 14 minutes and 21.06 seconds, breaking the previous school record of 14 minutes and 22.27 seconds set back in 2014. Unfortunately, Sullivan's record-breaking time would not be enough to take him to the finals. Moving over to the Jesse Owens Relays, the Penguins stayed hot. Macklin Rose broke and then set the school pole vault record with an original jump of 4.91 meters, then another jump of 4.96 meters. Rose placed 6th in this event. Our very own Monica Kurjan had the chance to catch up with Elliott and Rose to talk about their performances.
Macklin, congratulations on breaking and setting the school pole vault record. What clicked for you?
Everything's been on the last couple weeks, just weather outside hasn't really been cooperating, and finally just everything came together, weeks of practice, and the weather was good.
So if you've had to make any adjustments between the indoor season and the outdoor season, what have those adjustments been?
The biggest adjustment is going from the 60 to the 100-meter dash. So, like, when you run your first 100 outdoor, you're, like, automatically going to die, like, right after 60 meters. So I just really have to focus on my finish and make sure I stay strong, like, all the way through.
Outdoor, probably the biggest thing would be, like, wind. You have to trust that what you've been doing all week at practice is good, and that you're going to continue to do the same thing outdoor.
What's your mindset like heading into the Horizon League Outdoor Championships?
Really, I just want another win with the team. Of course, win my events individually, 4x1, take a first place, but also just to win as a team.
I just kind of want to repeat what I did at Ohio State. Want to go out with a bang this last season.
Thanks, Monica. Zach Gem took 4th place in the discus throw after throwing the disc 53.15 meters. For the shot put, Dom Westbay won the section with a mark of 17.75 meters. As for the women's shot put, Caitlin Merwin received 4th place with a mark of 14.57 meters. Up next for the Gwins is the Horizon League Outdoor Championships. The championships will be hosted at YSU, taking place Friday through Sunday at Farmers National Bank Field. Best of luck to the men and women as they compete this weekend.
The head coach of the men's basketball team, Jared Calhoun, and his staff will be busy this summer as they will be hosting 4 summer camps. The schedule includes a team shootout on June 9th, 2 individual skills camps on June 10th through the 13th and 17th through the 29th, and an elite camp on June 15th. For more information, contact Mark Richmond or Danny Reese or go to ysusports.com. And as the spring season is coming to a close, we're going to send it over to Dom and Kelsey at the roundtable for a final review of this sports.
Thank you guys, Dom, Joseph, Kelsey Norris. Welcome into the roundtable. And now we're going to get ready to look at some of these teams from spring sports. This spring semester has gone by so quickly.
Yeah, it really has. I really enjoyed watching all the different sports that, I really didn't think I had a passion for, but, watching basketball, track and field, softball, baseball, there's just so much we could talk about.
Absolutely. We're going to get started with women's basketball. I think this was one of the biggest surprises of the year. 22-10, 13-5 in the conference, only lost 1 game at home. So, we always talk about how important home court advantage is. They took full advantage of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Watching those games at home really, helped them pump up their spirit. And they had a lot of success at home, but unfortunately the last game fell just short. And that was a little bit heartbreaking, but we're still very proud of our Penguins.
Absolutely.
And, yeah,
that was such a close game in the semifinals of the tournament. Just this close to get into the championship, but nonetheless, a great year. Looking at some of the stars of the season, you got to look at players like, obviously, Allison Smolinski, the senior, just an unbelievable year. Sharpshooter from 3. She holds the records now here at YSU. She's going to go down in the history books. It's going to be a number that's going to be hard to touch.
Yes, I agree. Allison is definitely one of the more, memorable players this season because of the 3-pointers. And another player that I've been watching is definitely Mary Dunn, and I think that she's accomplished a lot. Whenever we need a couple more points to just boost us up there, 1 more 3-point or even a 2, she's always there to help us out.
Yeah, that's the one thing that she built on this year was her 3-point game. It came out of nowhere. Mary Dunn shoot a 3 and bang, going in. That was just an incredible asset to have her. And now you have Sarah Cash graduating. Someone's got to fill that hole, and Mary Dunn is the perfect person to do it. So with that, also have Melinda Trimmer graduating. You have players like Chelsea Olsen that are going to step up, and they were already breeding Chelsea into that point guard position. So the women's basketball team, they are in good shape going into next season.
Yes, I agree. And now that we talked about women's basketball, I think the men's basketball team it was very entertaining this season, and I'm also looking forward to next season. Who were some of the players that stood out to you this season?
The one thing for sure is the men's basketball team went 12-20, 8-10. That doesn't sound good, but compared to last season, this is a big improvement for this team. But as goes for players, Darius Quisenberry, coming in as a freshman, just lit it up, did great. Devin Morgan transferred into YSU. He came off the bench and just started scoring in bunches, and he was that one guy you could rely on when your starters needed a rest. And, of course, the senior, Noah Annenber, did a great job, and we're going to miss him when he graduates.
Yeah, I agree. Thankfully, he was the only senior that we're losing, but it'll absolutely be a loss that we'll feel. And hopefully, someone will step up to fill that center position, and maybe we'll see Darius fill that. We have 3 more years with him, and he's been very impressive so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have.
When you look at a guy like Noah Annenber that scores in bunches, someone's got to fill that gap of who's going to be our high-point scorer. It's going to be Darius Quisenberry, especially the way he's been playing. But as for the position of center, I think Ola Peterson's the guy to do it. He's still got a lot to learn with this team. It was a big learning experience for them this year, but I think he's going to be in good shape next year. So now let's move on to women's golf. And when you think women's golf here at YSU, you think of one player, and that's Caitlin Shutt.
Absolutely, yeah. Shutt is also always like the person that you think of when you think of women's golf, and she's only a junior this year, so thankfully we'll see her in the fall and in the spring. And she's only a junior, so we'll have her 1 more year. And she's set so many records that it's been very impressive. And I think that having her as a part of the team will motivate, and help us bring up our scores and make it a little bit better for everybody involved. And it'll be very impressive. I'm looking forward to seeing how the women's golf team does.
Absolutely. Looking at some of the numbers for Caitlin Shutt, 6 top 5 finishes, 74.4 strokes per round. That's a school record, and she was first team all-conference. So she's got a lot to build off of going into next year. We'll just have to wait and see if someone fills the gap, if she doesn't perform up to expectations, but we'll just have to wait and see. And last but not least, Track and field.
Track and field is always something that is so, like, you're just very entertained whenever you hear about track and field because there's, like, you know, always the top names, you know, Chad Zallo, Julia Elliott. But then there's also, like, players like, you know, Caitlin Merwin, Nicolette Kretzelis, that are a lot of the women. And it was my favorite part of probably all of the spring sports season was the Horizon League Championships for both the men and the women. They performed amazingly, and that was probably one of my favorite parts of the whole.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Horizon League Championship for both men and women. That is very, very difficult to do. So got to give credit where credit is due. But again, you look at a player like Chad Zallo, second-team All-American, has been setting school records. And now there's the question, will he go to the Olympics?
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people are wondering what his future holds because some people think he's going Olympic route and then some people think he's going football route. And I could see, honestly, I could see both because I could see him succeeding in any of the things that he aspires to do. He's a very good athlete, so I'm very excited to see what Zallo has in his future.
Absolutely, and that'll do it for us here at the Round Table. Let's send it over to Richie and Matt, who have more.
Thank you, Dom and Kelsey, for the insight. This past weekend, the National Football League held its annual draft in Nashville. Although no former Penguins were selected during the event, offensive lineman Vitas Hrankowicz signed an undrafted free agent deal with the Los Angeles Rams. Fellow offensive lineman Gavin Wiggins was invited to 2 pro minicamps with the Buffalo Bills and the Oakland Raiders. Congratulations to Vitas and Gavin, and good luck to them as they begin their careers in the NFL.
It was a tough weekend for the softball team as they were swept by the UIC Flames this past weekend. UIC entered the weekend as the best team in the Horizon League, and in Friday's game, the Penguins fell 6-2 with senior Lexi Zapatelli driving in the only 2 runs for the Youngstown State Penguins. Saturday was the doubleheader day. The first game was all UIC as they claimed a 13-0 shutout. The Penguins fell in game 2 as well, but managed to get runs across the board. Freshman Alex DeLeon and senior Danny Dadig brought in 2 runs with their solid hitting, but UIC claimed the 10-3 victory. The final series for the softball team begins Friday against the Green Bay Phoenix.
The YSU baseball team took on the St. Bonaventure Bonnies in a non-conference midweek matchup on Wednesday. The Gwins jumped on the board early, scoring 4 runs in the first inning. Blaze Glenn drove in the first 2 runs of the game with a single up the gut. Then the next at-bat, Jeff Whaler smoked a 2-run bomb out of the park and left to extend the lead to 4. The following inning, Blaze Glenn continued to lead the Gwins in RBIs with a 2-run blast to left, which was 2 of his 6 RBIs on the day. YSU pitching staff had a terrific day as 4 pitchers combined for 3 hits, no earned runs, and 8 punchouts. The Gwins would go on to win this ballgame 10-0. The Penguins unfortunately had their weekend canceled as they were scheduled to travel to Oakland for a 3-game series. Luckily, the Gwins had another weekday ballgame on Wednesday against Eastern Michigan. Up next, they will take on Wright State for a 3-game series starting on Friday. Be sure to check out YSUSports.com for live scores and updates. All right, next we're going to turn it over to our favorite part of the show, Play of the Week. Doing Play of the Week this week is Noah Ricks. Noah, take it away.
Thanks, Richie and Matt. We will take you to Eastwood Field and Niles, where Jeff Whaler and Blaze Glenn would both pick up 2-run home runs against St. Bonaventure. Let's take a look. So here's the first home run, a dinger into left field. Goodbye. See you later. Jeff Whaler would bring in himself and Blaze Glenn for a 2-run home run to extend the YSU lead to 4-0. And that would happen all day long for YSU, as this second home run will be Glenn returning the favor. Here it is, the pitch coming up. It will be another one into left field, another home run. This time it's Blaze Glenn and Phil Glasser going home. That would extend the YSU lead to 6-0. And that was all smiles all day long for the Penguins as they would take down St. Bonaventure by a final score of 10-0. We would like to congratulate Jeff and Blaze for their well-earned home runs. Richie and Matt, back over to you.
Thank you, Noah, for that great play of the week, and that's going to wrap it up here at the Penguin Rundown. Be sure to check out YSUSports.com for live scores and updates, and also follow us on social media on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and Facebook on Penguin Rundown 1. Richie Giuliano alongside Matt Ganser. Matt, it's a pleasure hosting with you this week.
Always a pleasure. It felt natural, didn't it?
It always does, and that'll wrap it up here at the Penguin Rundown.